Once upon a time, John was a farmer who lived in a small village. He had a wife, Emma, a son, Mike, and a daughter, Hannah. They loved each other. John worked hard on the farm. Emma took care of the house. And the kids went to school every day. And they lived happily together. One morning, Emma woke up early to prepare breakfast. She whisked the eggs with a pinch of salt and black pepper. Then poured them into a hot pan with a little oil. Adding cheese and diced tomatoes to create a fluffy omelet. As the omelet cooked, she started boiling milk in a pot, stirring it gently to keep it from scorching. While the milk heated, she boiled water on the stove. Then added tea leaves to the pot, letting them steep for a few minutes. Once the tea was ready, she poured it into 2 cups, added the hot milk, and stirred in sugar until it dissolved. Meanwhile, she toasted slices of bread, spreading butter and jam on top. Finally, she poured cereal into bowls, adding the warm milk and fresh fruits on top.
"Breakfast is ready,"
she called out, filling the kitchen with delightful aromas. Mike and Hannah jumped out of bed.
"Come on, Hannah. Let's wash our faces and get dressed,"
Mike called, racing to the bathroom. After brushing their teeth and splashing water on their faces, they quickly put on their uniforms. John walked into the kitchen, adjusting his hat.
"Smells amazing, Emma. I can't wait to eat,"
he said, joining the kids on the floor for breakfast, where Emma had set out milk, omelets, toast, and tea for them. It was a year when a severe drought affected the village. The stream was dry. All the ponds nearby were empty, and there was no well in the village. The nearest well was far outside the village. One hot afternoon, Emma noticed the water barrels were completely empty.
"Oh no! We have no water left for cooking or washing the dishes,"
she exclaimed, her heart racing.
"And we need water for washing the clothes too."
She quickly grabbed 2 large pots and said,
"Come on. We have to go to the well."
Mike and Hannah rushed to grab the pots. At the well, they found a long line of neighbors waiting. Emma turned to a friend, Lily, and said,
"How will we manage without rain? I can't remember the last time we had enough water."
Lily sighed.
"It's tough for everyone. Let's just hope it rains soon."
Finally, it was their turn, and they filled their pots. As the sun began to set, Emma returned home with the pots full of water.
Oh no. I still have to make dinner,
she thought, placing the pots on the counter. Mike and Hannah also placed the pots on the counter. She quickly washed the dishes, using just a little water from a glass to rinse them. She made sure not to waste a single drop. Then Emma decided to make pasta with tomato sauce for dinner. She boiled water in a pot for the pasta. Once the water was boiling, she added the pasta and cooked it until it was done. Meanwhile, Emma prepared the tomato sauce by sautéing chopped onions and garlic in a pan until they were soft. She then added crushed tomatoes, a pinch of salt, and a sprinkle of red chili flakes, and letting it simmer for a few minutes. Just as she finished, John came in from the farm, and Mike and Hannah helped her serve the pasta with sauce on the kitchen floor.
Dinner smells wonderful,
John said as they all gathered to eat together. Emma sighed as she sat beside John.
John, we had no water at home today. The kids and I had to walk to the well outside the village with the other women.
John frowned.
I know it's tough. The drought has dried up the stream.
Emma nodded.
I made a simple dinner, but it's not easy without enough water.
She looked at the kids and added,
Our kids are suffering too.
John said.
The drought is getting worse.
He added,
The stream is dry. And if we don't get water for the crops soon, we will lose everything.
Emma sighed.
What will we do about the school fees and bill?
John replied,
I think we should dig a well in the village. That way, we won't have to go far for water, and our crops will have a better chance to survive.
Emma nodded.
That sounds like a good plan, but it will take time and effort.
The next day, John told the villagers with determination,
I will dig a well for all of you, and we will have water for everyone.
The village chief nodded with a smile and replied,
Your spirit is admirable. John, we all believe in you.
The villagers were happy and praised him. Armed with his spade, digging rod, and shovel, John set off to find a good spot. A train of cheering villagers followed, and there was a festive mood all around. Selecting a suitable spot, John started digging. The gathering sat under umbrellas, gossiped, snacked, and occasionally cried out.
God bless you! John! You are such a great man! Keep it up!
In the afternoon, Emma prepared sandwiches and hot tea in a thermos and went to John.
Lunch is ready.
She called out, and they sat together to have lunch. John kept on digging, but there was no sign of water. After he had dug about 20 feet, he felt tired and sat down. The onlookers were dejected too. The oldest of them said,
I always knew this was not an auspicious spot. It is better to dig at the southern corner of the village.
Everyone agreed. So John went to the southern corner and started digging afresh. The spectators followed him and settled at the new place. John again dug about 20 feet without any water. Then the village priest said,
Perhaps the eastern corner would have been better. East is the direction where the sun rises.
So John went to the eastern corner of the village, followed by the group. Several hours passed, and he had already dug 30 feet. But again there was no water. On the advice of the village doctor, he now shifted to the northern corner.
North is the direction from which cold wind blows.
The doctor said,
You will definitely strike water there.
John dug 20 more feet in the northern corner, but to no avail. The whole day passed without a trickle of water. The villagers lost hope.
Don't worry, John,
Emma said gently, placing a hand on his shoulder.
We can try again in the next few days. I believe you will find water.
As they turned homeward, they met the village school teacher returning from the city. On seeing the disheartened group, the teacher asked,
Where have you been to? And why are you all so sad?
The men narrated the events. John was crestfallen. He said in a low voice,
Can you imagine? I had dug throughout the day, but it amounted to nothing. The day was wasted.
The teacher smiled and said,
Although you had dug about 90 feet throughout the day, it was scattered all over the village. Had you dug 90 feet in one place, you would surely have reached water. However dry the surface might have seemed.
Everyone realized what a fool they had been. John thought,
I should have kept on digging patiently till I reached water instead of getting misled by others' advice.